With me, team president for Kaulig Racing, Chris Rice. Chris, you are known as a whatever it takes kind of a guy.
I am, and that's good to hear from you guys, and I appreciate that. When we started building this program, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, we didn't even have a wrench. We always tell that story. We didn't have nothing. Matt called me and said he wanted to start a race team. I said, "Are you serious?" He's like, "Yeah." So we started a race team. Here we are.
That is something else. You guys, the thing is about the Kaulig companies is that you're in NASCAR, you're in golf, you're in sponsorship of different things. You guys are known as a company that earns, but you also you spend. You're involved in the community and all that, so that's obviously an awesome thing to work for an organization that does all that.
Yeah, I mean, what Matt does for the community in Northeast Ohio is awesome. It's really special. All the giving that he does with Kaulig Givings and philanthropy that they do up there is pretty cool. We're just we're the cool side of the business, and we get to talk about how much he loves kids, how much he loves giving. His famous saying is "Moi makes, moi gives," and that's awesome for him. So. Very good.
All right, we're going to turn our attention to NASCAR, and Ty Dillon, I know who he is. Most NASCAR fans know who he is. He's the other Dillon, and I'm sure he was an unthought of person to ever advance from 32 against Denny Hamlin, and that has just been awesome because this has really been great publicity for Kaulig Racing and for him.
Yeah, it has, and it gives me cold chills to think about it because I said this last week at Dover when he made it to the final round. I said, you got to go out there and make them talk about you. Don't complain that they're not talking about you. Go out there and make them talk about you, and he's did that. We're not competing for wins. It's really tough on Sundays. People understand that, and we're not competing for wins, but what we are doing is we're making a splash. If you can beat a guy one week and then beat a guy the next week, and this in-season bracket has been awesome for teams like us. Teams like Gibbs, teams like Legacy, because we've been able to make a story. We've been able to make something people talk about us, and I feel like we've won a championship making it to the final round, and that's been cool. But cool for Ty Dillon. He's done a really good job. We came into the season thinking 25th. He's averaged right around 18th for us when we didn't mess up or something didn't happen. So really exciting.
Yeah, when I saw him back at Charlotte before this started, and I kind of asked him about the bracket challenge. He was like most drivers. I don't think he really had a sense of what could possibly happen, but he certainly changed his tune. I mean, what he said about Denny Hamlin, I just beat your favorite driver. I mean, it must have got 5 million loves or likes on Facebook, YouTube, and all the rest. I mean, that was awesome.
It was awesome, and I literally was in his motorhome at Atlanta, and I said, when you beat him, you should say that you beat his favorite driver or something like that. Use his line against him. And I said, I actually said you should tweet it, but first you should text it to Denny and make sure that he understands it. And he's like, "You're right." But then as soon as he got out of the car, he just went in and done it, and it was awesome.
All you Denny fans out there, I just knocked your favorite driver out. Ty, one more thing.
And Denny played with it, which was actually cool. But like last week, John Hunter ripping his shirt, we were able to give that shirt away. That shirt, got so many likes, so many loves. People love this. People love this in bracket challenge, and that's what we need for NASCAR. Thank goodness Ty Dillon as a 32 seed has shown that you can do something that people believe that you can't do. I stated that on my social media yesterday. A lot of people are going to tell you that you can't do it. He's done it.
Well, and then the following week, he kind of did something with Brad Keselowski, but I think he also said, "Brad's such a gentleman." I don't know, but I don't know what he ended up doing. I think he said
something.
His
basketball. Brad Keselowski
can't
do basketball.
Yeah.
He was talking about his basketball, and that was actually funny because they had this whole thing they played and everything, so that was cool.
Yeah, well, thank you for setting me straight on that. Now, the one thing before I move on to a couple other questions here, what I like about the in-season bracket challenge, I think I saw it before most people because in NCAA basketball, Iona is not going to beat Kansas in the first round game. It's just not going to happen. But NASCAR, anything can happen. Somebody could go into the wall, they blow a right tire, they tear something up, and they can't continue on. Well, that's kind of happened in some of these scenarios. But to me, this bracket challenge has so much potential. I asked Denny yesterday, I says, have you guys thought about double elimination or more payouts, or even like a fan prize, where like if they had have chose Ty Dillon, they could have drawn 5 Ty Dillon prizes out of this whole thing, and DraftKings could pay for it all because they're getting a big chunk of money out of this whole thing. I rambled. What do you think about what I said?
You know, I like that. You know, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I'm on a lot of committees with NASCAR and with their things to try to make the sport better, fan councils and all that. And when I think about what has went down with this in bracket challenge, can we make it better? Absolutely. Was it great? Absolutely. But it could be the 1 and 2 seed that's here because of the way it worked out. But the racetracks that were picked, Atlanta, halfway drafting, halfway style racetrack, they wrecked a lot of cars. That changes the whole start of the deal. You know, 2 legacy cars were together racing against each other. If AJ would have finished right in front of the 54, it was a possibility that AJ and Ty could have been racing each other. I like that. I thought it was great. My question is, should we do this for the playoffs? Is it time to make this a playoff, double elimination? You know, because you look at SVG, for example. He's going to run really good at the road courses. He's going to be average here. He's getting better. And you do it in bracket at the end of the year with a double elimination bracket challenge. I don't know. That's something we got to think about. We need to all sit down and think about it. Let the media, let the fans, let everybody vote and see what needs to happen. But I've loved what has happened inside this time of the year, because we normally are not talked about, because all these people are gone on vacation. They're gone with their kids. They're getting close, ready to go back to school. Nobody's talking about NASCAR. It's hot. Everybody's like, oh, we'll watch it on Sunday and take a nap. But now they're talking about it. Tomorrow, Sunday, is going to be an absolutely amazing race.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I like the. I think maybe changing some of the tracks next year, because, like you say, I lost over half my bracket in Echo Park. I was there at the race. I was in the press room, upstairs watching a race. I'm like, dang, who you got left? And but I love your idea, Chris. I think you're thinking out of the box, because it could be tweaked a couple different ways. In the playoffs, maybe the non-playoff qualifiers, they could have their own thing, or there could be something that involves the whole field, or maybe both things could be done, because there's some people out there, they'll bet 50 cents on cockroaches crossing the road. I mean, there's that.
When they allowed betting, we had to figure out something to be able to let people bet.
Yeah.
DraftKings, FanDuel, all these people figured it out, and it's awesome. Because if I'm not a betting man, especially on NASCAR, because we can't. But if I was a betting man, this is a great thing to bet on.
Yeah.
Maybe do it in an Xfinity series. Let's do some on Saturdays. Let's do some Friday night at the truck races. Let's do something fun like that. Man, it would be so cool, and everybody wants to bet on it. And that's what it's all about, having fun.
As a matter of fact, I asked Justin Allgaier that question yesterday, and he says, yeah, absolutely, Xfinity is fair game. He says, I think it could work for us, and this is something that's changed. And I don't put money on sports. I don't, but I have fun with the brackets. I do it for funsies.
Yeah. And
I might play for a beer or something like that, but to me, I've just thoroughly enjoyed that. A couple more questions before we wrap. What would a $1 million prize mean to Kaulig Racing?
Well, here's what everybody asks me. Always asks me, oh, how much is your cut of the $1 million? Let me tell you something. I'm all about our team. Everybody that works at Kaulig Racing, from Xfinity to Cup, is all one pot. So what that does is just allows the bonus to be bigger, for the team. Anytime we can do something like that, definitely allows the bonus to be bigger for our workers, because that's who makes it. The men and women at Kaulig Racing make it. There's no I in Kaulig Racing, zero. And if it is, we don't want you here. So we take the monies that we can get to something like this, we throw it in a pot. We have an absolutely amazing Christmas party that we've allowed people to start posting about. And it just makes that bigger. We might have, a different singer or something cool there. So the monies would be given back to the team. Matt is all about that. Matt is a guy that is a giver. We just talked about earlier. And it doesn't change how we race on the racetrack, because it'll all be given back to the team. It'll make the team want to stay here more. Now, men and women, we started with 12 people. We're over 140 now.
Wow.
So, it's actually awesome what we're doing.
So, everybody thinks the drivers are getting it all, but in the case of Kaulig Racing, and I think most teams, they would kind of split the pot a little bit amongst some of the people. you know, that'll work and put that car out there on the track and the driver and all that. So that sounds like a great thing. And you know, some people, I don't know what a bonus would be. I'm not here to get into that. It's none of my business. But you know, if somebody got a 10 grand type thing and they could put money down for a house or a car or something like that, that is life changing. You don't have to be $1 million.
It doesn't have to be $1 million, man. You know, I remember the day when I started and I made $250 to go to work. I remember that day, and you know, an extra $250 was a lot. And I always tell all our people, you want a boat, go buy a boat. You want a house, go buy a house. You want something, go buy something. And they always look at me like, why do you want people to buy something? That way they got to go to work. If they got something, they got to pay for it, they got to go to work. I always believe if they'll go buy something, it actually helps them at their job. And people don't believe that. People are like, don't buy nothing, don't buy. I'm always, all our people, they want something, I'm going to help them go buy it. They want a car, I'm going to figure out how to get them a Chevy car. You know, I'm going to do something like that to get these people to go buy something.
That's outstanding. One final Kaulig Racing question for you. From the time you started now to the end of the season, what's your big goal, Chris?
Our big goal is we got 2 young guys here in Xfinity that are putting a lot of pressure on themselves. We're putting a lot of pressure on them, is to get them to where they feel like they're where they need to be. I mean, this is the first time since we've been racing that we've had 2 rookies, you know, in our fold. And I think it's been tough on the young guys as much as it has us and everybody else. And my goal for that is to get those guys to where they feel like that they can contend each weekend, that they're not just showing up. I mean, you look at Daniel Dye, if he hadn't have been here last year, he's never been to Indianapolis Motor Speedway. He wouldn't know how to drive in here. You look at Christian Eckes, he's never been here. He had, you know, 20-some laps yesterday. So my goal is when we finish this year, those 2 guys feel like they made a way and they've done better. You know, AJ, Ty Dillon, those guys have done a really good job on Sundays. Mike Cook, everybody over there. Just keep contending, keep making our name special, you know, making sure that everybody understands we're here to have fun and win trophies, that we're just not here. Matt Kaulig said it yesterday. We set up about a 4-hour meeting yesterday, and he says, I'm ready to go win again. I want to go trophy hunt again. And we're going to figure that out, and we will be there.
Well, thank you very much. Chris Rice, President, Kaulig Racing. Thank you very much for giving us 10, 12 minutes of our time. Great organization. I think you guys are on the rise.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate it. Make sure you smile at somebody today.